Hello everyone. Today is September 28th, 2025, and I want to go through more Charlie Kirk symbolism here, and I'd like to thank everyone for all the great comments and all the thumbs up. I had well above average amount of views on my video, so I appreciate all the feedback and the thumbs up there. And of course, my first video was about Charlie and the Wolverines, where I connected it to the Utah Valley Wolverines and the movie Red Dawn with Charlie Sheen. And if we connect, I also talked about the baseball theme, where we connected the two home plates at Utah Valley University, and they nearly point to the Golden Gate Bridge. And there's a lot of other things I've added to my Google Earth here that I'll talk about here in a minute. That have to do with this whole incident and all the symbolism that I found that goes along with it as well. Okay, and one of the symbolic things that I'm talking about, since there was a baseball theme, if you remember the 1989 earthquake series, right? Candlestick Park, the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake. There's some more earthquake symbolism here as well, so we will go through that in this video. And of course, the Golden Gate is going to be a major part of this video, and I'll show you why here. I talked about it a little bit in the last video, but the Golden Gate of the ecliptic is located in Taurus, and I'll just read you the description right from Wikipedia here. The Golden Gate of the ecliptic is an asterism in the constellation Taurus that has been known for several thousand years. The asterism is formed by two eye-catching open star clusters, the Pleiades and the Hyades, that form the posts of a virtual gate on either side of the ecliptic line. So here's your virtual pillars of the Golden Gate: Pleiades cluster, Hyades cluster, and the line that connects those two, like the virtual line for the body of Taurus, would be like the crossing of the Golden Gate Bridge here, right, with the ecliptic line, the path of the sun. So that's the Golden Gate of the ecliptic. It's in Taurus. Turning Point USA was founded on 6/5/2012 on the day of a Venus transit, when Venus appears to move across the disk of the sun. And of course, this was in Taurus. I'll have a more detailed slide here coming up, but Venus in Taurus. Taurus, of course, famous Hyades star cluster that makes up the face is the V-shaped face of Taurus. I know Decoding with Cody and Ball Don't Lie, we're talking about the V symbolism, but that comes directly from the constellation Taurus. It's famous for that V of the Hyades cluster. So Turning Point USA, the Venus transit, we covered that. More interesting symbolism that needed to be mentioned, I don't think I mentioned it, or at least I didn't show it, was Taurus in medical astrology. Taurus has to do with the neck. And here's all the other constellations here: Aries, the head and face; Taurus, the neck; Gemini, arms, hands, shoulders. But Taurus is specific to the neck. Here's a couple other pictures here, slides, right? Taurus across the neck. Taurus has to do with the neck. And of course, we're told, or it appears, that there was a neck injury on Charlie Kirk. So we're going to be talking about this neck symbolism, and we've had two incidents recently with the Irina girl on the train. She was stabbed in the neck. Charlie shot in the neck. And then we're going to be looking at some other symbolism here with Superman. And then also recently, the would-be Trump assassin Ryan Ruth, who was convicted on all charges. After the verdict was read, he tried to stab himself in the neck with a pen. And of course, Superman Famously, the Man of Steel, he fell off a horse and sustained a neck injury and became paralyzed from the neck down. So all these incidents, especially these three latest ones, all have to do with the neck symbolism, or Taurus. And we'll cover this as well here. It's kind of interesting, the symbolism here that I found with that. Because supposedly in the shooting, Charlie's body stopped a bullet that would typically just go through everything, and it was an absolute miracle, and they're calling him the Man of Steel. Okay, obviously the Man of Steel is Superman, and the Superman that we know the best, of course, known for the neck injury and paralysis. And if you follow any other videos or watch any other videos, of course there's thousands of them now about the improbability of this actually happening. A 30-06 round to the neck would most certainly go through his whole neck, causing massive damage. So to quote Captain Kirk and the colorful metaphor, this is all bullshit with the, the bullet stopping in his neck. Anyone who knows anything about ballistics would know that that's impossible. Nearly 2,200 foot-pounds of energy remain at 150 yards out of a 30-06. So there's no accounting for this 2,200 foot-pounds of energy that just seemed to stop in Charlie's neck. So, but that's the narrative we've got, and the reason I think that they say that it's a 30-06 is because the 30-06 actually points to a year. The nomenclature for 30-06 means 30 caliber 1906, which is the year it was introduced. So being that there's so much symbolism with this 1906 and this 30-06, I thought I would go back and look at events in 1906 in San Francisco, or near the Golden Gate Bridge. Of course, there was a massive earthquake. If I can find it here. The 1906 San Francisco earthquake, huge earthquake, 7.9 on the Richter scale, and right in the San Francisco Bay Area, and it was on 4/18/1906, and a very significant date that also connects to the Superman theme here, that I'll show you in a second. Because Superman, right, the 1978 movie with Christopher Reeve, the mastermind, the evil mastermind Lex Luthor, played by Gene Hackman, who recently passed away as well, he is going to sink everything west of the San Andreas Fault into the ocean. Okay, just for a little visual here, San Francisco, and then of course the San Andreas Fault extends up and down the coast here, but you can kind of see, what they're showing here in this movie with Superman, right? It's all about land, right? He wants to create his own. He owns all the property in the desert, and he wants to make money off of it by sinking the rest of California into the ocean. And he's revealing his plan here to Superman, right? And they give you the above view here. So what's interesting about Superman is Superman debuted on 4/18/1938. So exactly 32 years after the San Francisco earthquake was the first debut of Superman in the comics. And as my whole theme that I talked about in my other video, the first video about Charlie, is this whole human and natural person and kind of legal ease aspect of this whole thing, which is, in my opinion, the most prolific and symbolic in what really is trying to be shown to us here. But the word human is defined, this is from the Oxford New English Dictionary of 1901, human is defined as belonging or relative to man as distinguished from God or superhuman beings, right? And technically that should probably be superman beings, but right, human, belonging or relative to man. We went through all the other definitions of human. Now, human is basically not a very good word. Human is a legal entity in legalese. So we talked about the color of man, Charlie, going to Colorado on his next thing. We covered that on the first video, but so here's our connection once again to the human definition. It's distinguished from God or superhuman or superman beings. And being that Superman debuted in the comics exactly 32 years after this earthquake, and then the movie, right, the first Superman movie, is about this area as well, the San Andreas Fault. So super symbolic, of course, all connected, all deliberate, connecting to the comics and the earthquake here. Now this S is going to come into play here because it has to do with the Turning Point USA founding. Okay? So this is the path of Venus, and Venus is what forms the pentagram of Venus with the 13-8 Earth to Venus resonance that we see in the sky that forms the pentagram of Venus. And I showed you my chart with all the Venus inferior conjunction points and all the dates. But if we go basically a month back and a month forward from the 6-5 turning point date, and we follow the trail of Venus, the trail of Venus forms this S, right in between the horns of Taurus here. And this was the Turning Point USA founding, of course, almost identical to the Superman logo. And that was our Sun and Venus conjunction that I showed you the close-up of here just at the beginning of the video here. So, but 6-5, here's the close version, the path, and then the faraway view with the trail showing the S. Now we're going to cover this human aspect or this human symbolism a little more further and show you what the origin of it is. The origin is probably before even what I'm going to show you, but here is Pope Francis in November 15th, 2017, and he was gifted a Lamborghini, and of course the Lamborghini symbol is a bull. And if you know anything about the popes, the Pope issues a decree called a Papal bull. It's a type of public decree, letters patent, or charter issued by the Pope of a Catholic Church. So there's our bull symbolism again. And so I'm sure this date, I looked into this date a little bit, but this date I'm sure is, connected, or, it was chosen for some reason for this white Lamborghini to be gifted to the Pope. But nevertheless, of course, it would be a Lamborghini because of the logo with the bull. Now, one of the most, I don't know if you want to call it famous, but one of the most important papal bulls was called Unum Sanctum, and the very last line of Unum Sanctum contains this sentence, and it says, "Here stated that for the salvation it is necessary that every human creature be subject to the authority of the Roman pontiff." Now notice this word they use, human creature, right? In the first video I showed you that the definition of a human is a monster, and a monster is defined as a human being, and a monster or a human being cannot inherit land, right? Human being is a legal status. It's an inferior legal status to that of a man. And we have the Unum Sanctum, November 18th, 1302. I think I have it up here. Here it is right here. Unum Sanctum, Pope Boniface the 8th, 1302, November 18th. And furthermore, we declare, we proclaim, we define that it is absolutely necessary for salvation that every human creature be subject to the Roman Pontiff. And that human creature, of course, is an inferior classification to a man. And we unfortunately use it in our daily, it's used all the time, and we don't know its legal significance. We don't know that we're unknowingly roping ourselves or wrapping ourselves up into this inferior status by using the word human being. Okay, so I want to kind of connect this 1118 date that connects to the Unum Sanctum, talking about the human creature. I want to talk about this and show you this Mercury transit. This was back on 11/11/2019. Similar to the Venus transit, the two interior planets occasionally move across the face of the disk of the sun, and we get to see it as a little dot moving. But this was 11/11/2019, and I have it up here already. So here's the Mercury transit. Let's see if I have it up here as well. So here's a transit of Mercury, moves across the face of the sun. And the last one, whole list of them here, November 11th, 2019. So back to this. So 11/11/2019 Mercury transit to 11/18/2025, which will be the 723rd anniversary of Unum Sanctum. So from this transit to the anniversary of Unum Sanctum, 2199 days, and 2199, and we divide it by a Mercury year, and it is 25 Mercury years. 25 Mercury year anniversary will coincide with the 723rd anniversary of Unum Sanctum. I'll just show you that a little bit. We'll make the 25, so it's 2199 and a quarter days. So virtually spot on for the 25th anniversary, or 25th Mercury anniversary of the transit. Will land on the 723rd anniversary of the Unum Sanctum Papal Bull. The other date I have on here connected to Mercury, being that, of course, as in the first video, Charlie Kirk was assassinated on the 666th Mercury anniversary after the Lincoln assassination, and his partner, let's see here if I can find it, his partner that helped him form Turning Point USA was born in Lincoln, Nebraska, right, all this stuff. Died on July 28th. That just happened to be the anniversary. It's another anniversary date of the 14th Amendment to the United States that created the personhood of the U.S. citizen. Person, human being, that's all bad stuff. So, but anyways, his co-founder here, also super connected, super symbolic as well, but 666th anniversary of the Lincoln assassination, for the Charlie Kirk assassination, and then the other connection here, if we go from that San Francisco earthquake in 1906 to 10/3/2025, which is interesting because the gematria, the regular old ordinal gematria of Mercury is 103. And on 10/3 or 103/2025, we're going to have we'll take those days here, convert them into Mercury years, and it will be the 496th Mercury anniversary of the San Francisco earthquake. And what's so interesting about that, of course, is if you know your numbers, 496 is the third perfect number. There aren't very many perfect numbers. The next one is in the 8,000s, and then they really, really shoot up. But third perfect number of Mercury years after the earthquake will be on 10/3, 496 Mercury years after the San Francisco earthquake. And of course, the earthquake epicenter, which I have labeled right here, earthquake epicenter, I mean virtually right in the same area as the Golden Gate Bridge. And another pin I have dropped here, Village of the Damned. Now the reason I put that up there, also just because it's crazy proximity to the Golden Gate Bridge on the coast here, but Village of the Damned, 1995 film. It was Christopher Reeves, Superman's last theatrically released film before he was paralyzed in his horse accident. So this is Christopher Reeves' last theatrical release, last movie he was in before his accident where he hurt his neck. Right? There's our Taurus symbolism. But Village of the Damned, and it just happened to be set in this setting in Marin County right here. So Village of the Damned, last Superman or Christopher Reeves theatrical film. Golden Gate earthquake. Superman debuted on the anniversary of this earthquake 32 years later. The baseball symbolism, right? Candlestick Park, the earthquake series. The Loma Prieta epicenter. And of course, the San Andreas Fault. It's interesting too, the San Andreas Fault also in the same proximity as the Paul Walker crash, where he crashed his Porsche. He was in a Porsche, a German car, right? Charlie Kirk was supposedly shot with a 30-06, a Mauser, right? A German design. Kobe Bryant crash, helicopter crash, but also Lincoln City, that was the landing point, so to speak, for the 2017 Great American Eclipse, the first eclipse. Made landfall in Lincoln City, another Lincoln connection, but certainly all this stuff clustered up here, no coincidence. Let's see. So I'll show you 2026 Independence Day. We're going to go to the Golden Gate of the Ecliptic, and you can see here the day of that Mars-Uranus conjunction. Mars will be crossing the Golden Gate. Independence Day 2026, 250-year anniversary. There's that 25 again, so another interesting connection right there, having to do with Mars, right, the god of war. The red planets, Red Dawn. Okay, guys, I think that's all I had here for you. Just wanted to show the important symbolic connection between the Golden Gate. The bull connects to the Papal bulls, the human creature, all this legal stuff. It all connects here. It's all connected. I do have a Odyssey channel, and I will be posting stuff on that, and I will let you know when I start doing that. I'll be sure to let you know, and you're going to want to follow that, but I'm going to put that content, a certain different type of content, on Odyssey, and I'll let you know when it happens. Again, thank you for all the views, all the thumbs up, and all the comments. Tons of great comments. I'm really busy, so I don't have time to reply to all of them, but I do read them all, so thank you for that. And yeah, just want to go through all this and show you what I found. It's very, very, very interesting stuff. Especially this S here. Now these, I'll show you real quick here. The reason for the S is the retrograde motion of Venus. The Venus retrogrades, where it changes direction in the sky. Right, May 15th and June 27th, 2012. That's what you're seeing here on these turns here. Is those Venus retrogrades. So that's what's causing our S here. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but that's what you're seeing here is the Venus retrogrades preceding and following Turning Point USA founding with that transit. Pretty pretty crazy stuff here. So, okay, guys, thanks for watching.